Hello amigos and welcome to another episode of Inside the Ropes with Coach Mario. Coach Mario, owner and head coach of Warriors Pride Boxing Academy here in Miami, Florida. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone's okay. All right, guys, we're going to go straight into it. Reason why I want to make this brief is because we have expected hurricane winds today here in Miami, Florida. Hurricane Milton is bearing down to the west coast of Florida later on today. We should be feeling some of the winds, the tropical storm winds coming close to our area later on today. So my day at the range is ruined. I'm not gonna be going to the range. I closed the gym for today, but I hope everybody's safe over there at the west coast of Florida, northern Florida, central Florida. Take care, guys. This is a monster coming down our way. All right, stay safe. Make sure you got everything ready and everything that you need in order to make it through this very powerful hurricane. All right, guys. But anyway, aside from that, great news, guys, great news. And I had said it before that Suriel Matias is back. Suriel Matias is back, and he's back in his own country. Back in his own country. All right? He's going to be fighting a fighter by the name of Ramirez at Rubén Rodríguez Coliseum Stadium in Bayamón, Puerto Rico. All right. His adversary is Roberto Ramirez from Mexico City. I believe Mexico City. And let's look at his record. It's 26-3 with one draw. He's lost 3 times. He's lost 2 fights by knockout. He's ranked number 11 in Mexico. He's ranked number 97 in the world. Suriel Matias is ranked number 5. So how tough of a test is this Roberto Ramirez for a comeback fight for Suriel Matias? All right. As you all know, Mexican fighters are tough fighters. They come to fight. They come to bring it. They don't play around. So Suriel Matias should not take this guy lightly. Even though he's got several losses in his record. All right. Mr. Roberto Ramirez is 31 years old. He's younger than Suriel Matias. He's a tall, orthodox fighter. He's 6 feet tall. He's got a 69-inch reach. He's got power. He's got 73% knockout ratio. And he's been a pro since 2011. All right, so he's been a pro for a while now. All right, so his losses are against William Cepeda Segura, and we all know who that is. And that guy is Camarón Cepeda, who is a fighter, teammate of Suriel Matias when Suriel Matias was fighting under the guidance of J. Panda Najar, El Panda. They're in Mexico City, Jiquipilco, Mexico. All right, so they're both buddies. His teammate, William Cepeda, was able to knock out Mr. Roberto Ramirez back a few years ago. All right. So let's continue. William Camarón Cepeda was able to knock out Roberto Ramirez in round 5 back in November 19th of 2020, 4 years ago. Roberto Ramirez, who at the time was 27 years old, and Camarón Cepeda was 24. So that was maybe a few years ago, all right, 4 years ago. Anyway, guys, that is who Roberto Ramirez is. He's been knocked out before. Obviously, he fought a really good contender, a really good number 1 ranked contender in multiple organizations, who is Camarón Cepeda, who is somebody that's in the fast track to becoming a world champion pretty soon. So he was able to dispose Roberto Ramirez in the 5th round. I have not seen that fight. I would like to see it. Maybe you guys can make comments about if you had seen the fight between Camarón Cepeda and Mr. Roberto Ramirez, the fighter who's going to be facing Suriel Matias in the Rubén Rodríguez Coliseum in Bayamón, Puerto Rico. That's Saturday, November 9th, 6 p.m. And it's going to be a pay-per-view event. I believe it's somewhere around $39, $39.90, $40 to see the fight. Called Tainos versus Aztecas. So Tainos, you know, it's the Native American Indians from the Caribbean, and the Aztecas, we all know, come from Mexico. So it's going to be a card where Puerto Ricans will be facing Mexicans. The whole card is a fresh promotion type of card. The organization or the promotion company that actually handles and promotes Subriel Matias. So who is Matias going to be training with? All right. He's going to be training with Coach Nelson Adams. I don't know if you guys know Nelson Adams. A lot of people do not know who he is. All right. And my son, when we were talking yesterday about who was the person who was going to be training Suriel Matias, I looked and I saw in an interview and in a report from El Nuevo Dia in Puerto Rico, which is a local newspaper in Puerto Rico. It's a major newspaper in Puerto Rico that was talking about Suriel Matias' next matchup, his fight against Roberto Ramirez, and basically mentioning that Suriel Matias' trainer was going to be Nelson Adams. So who is Nelson Adams? Nelson Adams was a member of the Puerto Rican National Olympic team. I believe he fought in the Pan American Games. He was a heavyweight fighter with, you know, pretty good success, good technique. He's been around forever. I believe he participated in Pan American Games. I can't tell you exactly what year, but this guy's got to be in his early 50s, if I'm not mistaken. But that is who Nelson Adams is. Nelson Adams is also a native of Fajardo, Puerto Rico. And as you all know, Suriel Matias is from Fajardo, lives in Fajardo, Puerto Rico, Barrio Maternillo. All right, that's why they call him El Orgullo de Maternillo. Maternillo is a barrio from Fajardo, Puerto Rico. All right, so Nelson Adams Jr. is his new trainer. All right, he's going to be preparing Suriel Matias for his next upcoming fight. And if you ask me about the comparison between Nelson Adams Jr. and Jay Panda Nahar, I can tell you Nelson Adams Jr. knows his shit. Nelson Adams Jr. knows boxing. This guy's been involved in boxing all his life. And if you know some of the history of the Puerto Rican national team, boxing team, you know who Jumbo 747 was. Jumbo 747, they used to call him Jumbo 747 because of how big and obese he was, you know, which is, it wasn't that much. It was just exaggeration. Back in the day, everybody was more or less skinny, so this guy was a little bit fatter. And we're talking about the national coach for the Puerto Rican Olympic boxing team, Jumbo 747. And the 747, if you all know, it's a little bit before your time. 747 was a huge plane from, I believe it was Pan American, one of these major airlines. It had it's a 2-decker plane where it had a second floor and all that stuff. It's a huge plane. So they used to call this coach Jumbo 747 because he was a big, obese guy, you know, kind of chubby guy, all right? But anyway, so Jumbo was the coach for the Puerto Rican national team and trained a lot of fighters there in the Fajardo area. And I can tell you a little anecdote here. When I used to live in Fajardo and my son was maybe 8 years old, I used to take him to this gym. I used to train at this gym. I was in my 30s. I was already done with boxing, but I always liked to train. And we used to see John Molina there all the time, and we used to talk to John Molina and all these guys. And sometimes I would do mitts with some of the kids. I would help them out. And Nelson Adams Jr. was there, and so was Jumbo 747. And we used to have conversations about upcoming fights, talk with John Molina, and always train there. And my son, that's where he started his short career in boxing and in MMA and everything else. He's a major in the U.S. Army now, but that's when he started, when he was 8 years old. So I just wanted to let you know how long this has been. And we're talking this back in the 90s when Nelson Adams Jr. used to train there, all right? So that's his coach. This guy knows boxing. This guy knows Puerto Rican boxing to the T. How well he's going to train, how well he's going to control Suriel Matias is another thing. I don't know if Suriel Matias is focused. I really hope he is. I hope that Suriel Matias has been able to get that monkey off his back of fighting in his hometown, the pressure. Also, being able to relax with his family and be able to catch up with his daughters that he had not seen in a long time. So that's no excuse now, guys. That's not going to be an excuse, all right? Because we've given Suriel Matias a lot of leeway. A lot of you guys, you know what I've been saying about Suriel Matias, how hyped I was about Suriel Matias' career, how much we were expecting of Suriel Matias, from Suriel Matias, especially against a mediocre top, maybe C plus B level fighter in Liam Paro, who is not going to be a champion for a long time, guys. This guy is not an elite fighter. I don't know what happened to Suriel Matias that night, but there's no reason why Suriel Matias should have lost against a fighter like Liam Paro. Liam Paro did not hurt Suriel Matias all night. And I don't want to go back into that whole situation of the fight, but that left a really bad taste in our mouth when we saw Suriel Matias just walking forward with his hands up in a high guard and just taking punches on his arms and all that stuff, and not throwing any punches. It was unbelievable. Suriel Matias was a fighter that wasn't afraid of anybody, that fought tougher opposition than Liam Paro. By the way, Liam Paro is going to be fighting that fighter that ran away from Suriel Matias, came up with all kinds of excuses saying he was not ready, he was going to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm talking about. Richardson Hitchens was a mandatory to fight Suriel Matias for the IBF title when he won against Gustavo Lemos, a fight that was very controversial, and I believe Lemos should have won that fight, should have gotten that opportunity. Now he's fighting Liam Paro. How convenient is that, guys? How convenient is that? He wasn't ready when he lost, when he, so-called beat by the, decision. And we're talking about Richardson Hitchens. When he beat Gustavo Lemos, he said he was not ready to fight Suriel Matias for the title. He needed to get back to the drawing board. But now he's fighting who? Liam Paro, because he's low-hanging fruit. Liam Paro is not going to last. Just like I said the same thing about the little midget from Mexico, the little arrogant midget from Mexico, Pitbull Cruz, who now seems like he's lined up with Canelo Alvarez and his team, continue using the same rhetoric as Canelo Alvarez, pick and choose who he's fighting, after being exposed against Rayo Valenzuela. So going back to the subject of Suriel Matias, now Subriel Matias, on his statements, on his interview with El Nuevo Dia in Puerto Rico, the major newspaper in Puerto Rico, said the following: I'm happy, obviously, I hope in God that all results will be able to be seen as the month starts going on. just expressing himself about the training with Nelson Adams Jr. He says, right now I'm looking for a way to getting to fitting in with the different rhythm and different dynamic, but I know that soon I'll be able to handle the changes. That's what Subriel Matias said regarding his training with Nelson Adams Jr. All right, he says the following also. He adds, I think that all fights and all preparations, I have worked hard. Really, the only difference is now that I'm close to my daughters, I understand that emotionally I am at ease, I am at peace, I am where I want to be and how I want to be. And we're sure we're going to be able to get out of all of this and move forward. Until the moment, I believe we're doing the right job with my trainer who has asked me and has set the bar for November 9th and the training for November 9th. We hope that we're going to be able to see the work that has been done until the moment Matias mentioned. All right. So that is the comments that Suriel Matias made at El Nuevo Día newspaper in Puerto Rico. All right. So it's going to be a great card, guys. I just want to see that he is ready to move forward. His promoter from Fresh Productions, Juan Orengo, confirmed to this newspaper that the decision of Matias to make camp or to have camp on the island was only the decision of the fighter. All right, so Suriel Matias was the one who made the decision to break ties with Panda Nahar, was the person that showed and told his promoter, listen, I'm done with Mexico. I'm done with training over there. I want to be at home. I want to be training next to my family. Consistently was complaining about that. And maybe you could see the effects of that homesickness, if you want to call it. I don't see it that way. I see that, guys, if you want me to be honest with you, to be weakness of mind weakness. And why? I'll tell you why. All right, if you're gonna train in the sport of boxing, you gotta be tough, not only physically but mentally, and you have to sacrifice yourself. Like I said in this program, in this show, many times regarding the sport of boxing. That's what I tell my fighters. Listen, you gotta sacrifice yourself for 3 months before a fight. Doesn't matter where you go, all the great legends have done it. All the great legends have done it. Subriel Matias somehow couldn't be away from Puerto Rico, couldn't be away from his family for 3 months. And let me tell you something I've said before. Why didn't Juan Orengo, the promoter, say, listen, I'm going to keep you in Mexico, but we're going to fly your family back and forth during those 3 months so you can spend some time with them? Why didn't he do that? All right, those are questions that are really still haven't been asked about Subriel Matias, haven't been asked to his promoter. Why didn't he do this? All right, boxing is a hard sport and it requires discipline, commitment, and sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice, you want to be in a comfort zone. Sorry, guys. What did Marvin Hagler used to say? It's hard to get up every morning and train when you sleep in silk sheets. All right? And Suriel Matias, it's not sleeping in silk sheets, but he's in a comfort zone in Puerto Rico. All right? Is he going to train? Is he going to be as hungry as he needs to be in order to regain his title? All right? So that is the question, my friends. That is the question. Suriel Matias is a fighter that needs to show what he's made of now, guys. He needs to, it's a do or die situation for Subriel Matias. He cannot lose another fight. He's got to continue on the winning streak. This guy was handpicked for Subriel Matias. This guy, in my opinion, was handpicked. He's a tough guy. He's Mexican. It's a good comeback fight for Subriel Matias. Get get comfortable back in the ring. But next year, I mean, hopefully if he beats this guy, he's got to do it in a dramatic, impressive fashion. If he does that, let's say Camarón Cepeda knocked this guy out in 5 rounds. If he knocks this guy out inside of 5-6 rounds, then that's a good show for Suriel Matias. It's going to bring his stock back up. It's going to be able to market Suriel Matias better. I don't know if he's still with Eddie Hearn. I don't know what the deal is with that. But I can tell you something. Next year, Suriel Matias cannot be picking and choosing low-hanging fruit like Roberto Ramirez, who is ranked 100 and something. Okay, so this is an easy fight for Suriel Matias, in my opinion. All right? As you all know, Mexican fighters are not so easy, and they can give you trouble. But he's been knocked out, I think, maybe 2 times. He was knocked out at TKO by Abel Ramos, who had 12-0 back in 2015. So that was way back. And then he also, so he's been knocked out twice. All right? This guy's been knocked out twice. So his chin might be suspect. And Suriel Matias is a beast when he's on his game, when he's on top of his game. He's a beast when he's throwing combinations, he's going to the body, to the head. When he's aggressive, when he's the old Suriel Matias is an unstoppable force. Knows how to cut off the ring, knows how to go to the body, throws 80 to 100 punches around. This guy's a beast when he's on. So it surprised everybody when Suriel Matias lost to Liamparo. And right now his fan base has turned a little bit against him. And I can't blame him, because Suriel Matias had no explanation after the fight. Had no explanation what had happened. There were a lot of comments about Suriel Matias hanging out the night before. There's a lot of comments about him throwing the fight. There's a lot of, speculation regarding why Suriel Matias lost. This is time for redemption, guys. This is time for redemption. And I know Roberto Ramirez is not a highly ranked fighter. He's ranked number 11 in Mexico. All right, he's a tall guy. He's lanky, 6 feet tall. All right, he's got good reach. Actually, he has less reach than Suriel Matias, 69-inch reach. I think Suriel Matias is like 72, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here. And a 71-inch reach, Suriel Matias. All right. So reach advantage is Suriel. Height advantage is for Roberto Ramirez. This guy's ranked 11 in Mexico. He's ranked 100 something in the world. So on paper, this is a gimme for Suriel Matias. All right. It's a fight for him to gain a little bit of more trust from his fan base, to get the people excited about his return, to get the people back on his corner. That's what this fight is all about, guys. So please let me know what you guys think. Who should Suriel Matias fight next? And I guess this is his last fight for this year. But who should Suriel Matias fight next after fighting Roberto Ramirez, after defeating him? Do you think he's going to defeat him by a knockout? Do you think it's going to go to the cards? Do you think that Suriel Matias might be upset again? And if that happens, that would be the end of Suriel Matias. He would be used like, stepping stone for other fighters, all right? But anyway, I just want those guys that are constantly criticizing Suriel Matias, saying that he's garbage, he's a hype job. I want the Chris O'Learys of the world to eat their own words when Suriel Matias comes back. If he comes back the right way and starts defeating opponents in the same fashion that he did with his previous 20 knockouts, that's what I want to see, all right? And he can do this because he's got the talent, in my opinion. He's got all the tools necessary. And his biggest enemy for Suriel Matias is his mind. All right? It's his mind. All right? It's his discipline. That's what I can see. So again, Suriel Matias, 20 fights, 20 knockouts, 20 wins, 20 knockouts, 2 defeats. He has never been stopped. He has never been knocked down. This one dubious knockdown call by Robert Byrd, that, corrupt damn judge. But Suriel Matias is a beast when he wants to. And we have talked about Subriel Matias' weight. Subriel Matias might be affecting his performance. He's already 32 years old. The 140-pound weight limit has been one that he has been participating in for the last 12 years. Is it time for Suriel Matias to go up to 147? We'll know after this fight. All right? I believe that if he can make 140 pounds and he can do that rehydration 10-pound clause that IBF has, then he should continue at 140. But if he cannot, if his body is already telling him at 32 years old, listen, Suriel, it's time for you to move up, he might be a lot stronger at 147. 147-pound division is wide open right now, all right? There's only one player there, one or two players there. So it's a very opportunistic weight division for Suriel Matias. So sky's the limit. If he puts his training hat on, if he listens to his coach, Nelson Adams, if he focuses on training and avoids all types of distractions, Suriel Matias should be able to handle this guy easily. And next year, he should be able to fight top-level opponents. Maybe fight some of the top-level opposition at 140 pounds. Some of those top 10 guys, all right? So who do you guys think is going to be able to fight Suriel Matias after this victory, all right? Starting next year, who do you think is a candidate for a good comeback fight with a top-level former champion, all right? Is Rougarou an opportunity for Suriel Matias? Some of these other guys have lost, the likes of Pitbull Cruz and other fighters out there who might be a good matchup against Suriel Matias. So please always remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're new to this program, share with your friends. Let me know what you think about the future of Suriel Matias. We hope the best for him. I'll be rooting for him. I'll be watching that fight, and we'll be talking about it soon again, all right? As the fight comes closer, we might make another episode about the progress of Suriel Matias and the preparation of Suriel Matias for this fight. But until next time, this Coach Mario, owner and head coach of Warriors Pride Boxing Academy here in Miami, Florida, trying to stay safe from the weather today and the rest of this week. Guys, God bless you all. Take care. Have a beautiful rest of the week, and peace. Start feeling it already. The winds.